Hey everybody, have Baby here. Got some flippin' information for you. Today we're going to be talking about filters. I know it's the most exciting topic that we can possibly talk about, but it is necessary to being able to flip well. It helps a lot. I was going to make a video about how to earn some money off of Azil Zenithar. I might put something out next week, but I did a quick YouTube search and I saw Upper Echelon Mediocrity has a video out that's pretty good, as well as Artea and several other YouTubers, and so I am going to work on that. But anyway, today we're talking about filters. As you can see here, I have many filters. So first things first, if you don't know how to get filters like this is all part of the Awesome Guild Store add-on. I can't recommend it enough. It should be base game that the Guild Store looks like this, but you won't be able to have any filters if you don't use Awesome Guild Store. You can download that off of Minion. It is probably, even more so than MM or ATT, the best money-making tool or money-making helper that you can get in terms of add-ons. So anyway, you'll see here I have ATT installed. This gives you some additional options for your Awesome Guild Store filtering. I usually run, as you've seen in other videos, I usually run with both MM and ATT on, but for the sake of like screen clarity, I wanted to do just one, and then I'll probably cut the video and record a second one with MM turned on so you can see the additional features. I'm sitting here at one of the bigger traders here in Stormrest, Wayrest, Stormhaven. There we go, Wayrest in Stormhaven. Right now, this filter is literally just everything that this trader has. You can see that I'm nowhere near close to loading all of the results. I wouldn't be surprised if this trader has close to 5,000 items on it. So it is a lot, and trying to scroll through, I could just scroll through and just look and see like, oh, maybe I do want some salt rice, or maybe I want some shadow hide, etc. But obviously this is not the best way to do this. There is no reason to have to scroll through thousands of things, especially if I'm just looking for a specific motif. But I don't think you guys need to I don't think you guys need me to tell you what filters are good for. So let's just talk about how to use them. So the first thing this gives you is a way to sort all of your stuff. It is pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go by each one. I usually leave it at the default unit price because I'm not usually just looking at prices. Price range, though, is something that I do use quite frequently. So there is a trick that I don't think it's much of a secret, but I think less people know about it than you would expect. So I'm going to use one of my other filters here. This is my jewelry filter for all purple jewelry. So the reason I picked purple jewelry is because purple jewelry decons into zircon grains at a pretty decent rate. So doing the math, I know that I want to pay no more than 12,500 gold for purple jewelry if I'm trying to decon it into zircon. So this is what you can use the price range filter for. Obviously, if you want to do something just straightforward, like we go over here to style motifs, I don't want to pay any more than 5,000 gold for a fucking motif. These are the ones that are available to me right now. So pretty straightforward on that one. Quality range, same straightforwardness. These are simple toggles you can use. Obviously in the motifs this won't do anything too much, but as you can see, as soon as we hit purple, it gets rid of the blue one. That is incredibly useful. I would recommend that unless you're looking for either crafting materials or items that are of superior or uncommon quality, which I don't 100% know why you're looking for them, but whatever, that's your business. Almost all of my filters are set to epic or legendary. If I'm flipping, I'm not generally trying to flip stuff that is normal quality. I don't even know very many people that sell it. Unit price range is somewhat similar to price range. It's just it goes by unit. This isn't going to be useful in something like motifs, but if we go over to materials, let's say that I only want to pay 5 gold per material. There's nothing available on this trader. If I go to 10 gold, you can see I can buy all the lemons. I can buy a bunch of lemons anyway. I guess it's not all the lemons, but it's probably like a third of the lemons that are available on traders. I don't know how many people sell lemons, but yeah. Anyway, these are all the self-explanatory ones. Let's get into the more difficult ones. Or difficult isn't quite the right word, but more complicated ones. So Deal Finder Deal Finder is probably one of the best tools to use when you're flipping. It will eliminate so much shit. For this, I'm going to stay on materials here, and I'm going to go over, I'll just leave it on all, actually. So you can see that this column here displays a percent. This percent is based on profit margin for the last 7 days, and the 7 days is pulling from my ATT records. I guess this is a good time to mention, if you're not in a trading guild or a guild that doesn't have a trader on a regular basis, your numbers are going to look different than mine. You've probably already noticed that looking through my other videos, if you've watched, that sometimes I have different prices, different deal thresholds. This is because it's based on your ATT data. Your ATT data is filled in by your guilds. So the bigger and more guilds that you're in that consistently have traders and people trading in them, the more, I don't want to say accurate, but relevant, I guess, data you'll have for your deals filter. But anyway, you can adjust that down here. Let's say that you're looking at stuff that sells a little bit slower, like a recipe. You might want to say based on 30 days. And you'll see that some of these things are now listed as red, etc. I like to use 7 days because I like my flips to flip quick. I believe I mentioned this in the rehoming video, but or it might have been in the flipping video before that, but I don't like having my filters or my traders clogged up with stuff for more than 7 days. I reserve maybe 2 or 3 spots for having long-term sells, but for the most part, I don't want to have stuff sitting and lingering. I'm personally just too impatient for that. So anyway, I'm not always the biggest fan of just setting, like, if you just set to, let's say, like fantastic deals, you're going to find very little, right? Like this iron ore and these rawhide scraps aren't a bad idea. Top grain hide is way more expensive than I would have thought. I'll buy that too. But you're only going to find a few items in any given category. It is very unlikely that you're going to go to a trader and hit your only fantastic or only mind-blowing deals and you're going to have pages and pages of stuff. One, most people who are actually using the guild trader are going to have some idea of what stuff is worth, whether they're asking in your guild or in another guild. They are going to find out how much items that they think are valuable are actually worth. The other reason you're unlikely to find it is that you and I are not the only ones flipping. There's actually a lot of people out here who do this. So good deals on items that don't, what's the better way to say this? Good deals on items that are actually valuable items that will actually sell in a fast manner will not linger for very long. Even in the way out there in the middle of nowhere reaches, you're unlikely to find a trader full of motifs that are drastically underpriced, etc. There is one time you might find stuff like that, or find like a trader full of deals. I'll talk about that in just a minute, but yeah, we'll just talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so in my opinion, the best way to use Deal Finder is to just straight up use it to eliminate only bad deals. I know a couple people who trade off of only good or better deals. Perfectly fine option. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend setting more than that unless you're absolutely like, no, I'm only gonna find deals that are gonna make me 30% or more, which is, again, totally valid. I just find that I don't get very many results if I just set it to these higher settings. Anyway, so let's leave that on bad settings. For this now, we're going to go over to, actually, I'll leave it here. We'll use this as a text search. So you can see I've got all my resources loaded up. These guys have a lot of items here, like looks like 99 items that are in my deal range, like that are not just bad deals. But I don't want to look at anything that is an ingot, let's say. So I could just filter, Awesome Guild Store gives you the ability to sub filter, so materials from any given trade here. But using text filters, this is something I didn't know until I saw a video from Stabby Doom that she made, I think 2 years ago at this point. It was old when I saw it, but there is a robust search feature involved in, or built into Awesome Guild Store, and it is incredibly useful for filtering big lists. So let's say that I only want to see, or I don't want to see anything with ingots. That's what I said the example was. So you just had minus ingot, boom, all the ingots disappear. Let's say that I also don't want to see any, let's say Tade. You put a slash, boom, gone as well. So that's a very useful tool for filtering out more and more items. It is not particularly useful in the grand filtering of resources. I don't I don't generally use it for this type of tab. Where I do use it, and you guys might have noticed, is in my motifs file. I set this to epic because I don't want to see any of those crappy blue ones, the Nord style or Argonian style. I've got a bank full of those from a gag that I used to run with my guild, and I still haven't gotten rid of all of them. I should probably just go and delete them all. It takes time. But you can see here that I have set quite a filter. So it's mostly please don't show me this. One of the things that you'll notice here is I don't use, or I am using the quotation marks, because if you just were to be like, don't show me ancient, it might not show you ancient Daedra or something like that. ZOS isn't necessarily always going to name everything consistently. And so if you need to filter out 2 words, you can use the quotes there. This is kind of similar, if anybody knows it, to the weird scripting or the weird searching language that Jury uses called jQuery. But it's similar to that. You can just, so again, I filtered out Ragata and it gets rid of all of that. Like for an example, live here, let's do slash, that's not how you do it, Fargrave Guardian. And we got rid of all the Fargrave Guardian pieces. It's not rocket science, but it is something that I didn't know for a long time. You can also set it, so you can also use it to just search for a specific item. Where was my all? I'm going to delete this. Don't need any more. So we'll go back to searching for all. Let's just say I want to find chromium grains. There are no chromium grains for sale on this trader at a deal price that I'm willing to set. If I set it to the bad, it seems like it's showing me that this data is incorrect. I wouldn't pay 369,000 per chromium grains, but somebody probably does. Anyway, this is what they have listed. You can see here that, once again, if I go back to my deal finder of only not bad deals, there's nothing there. One other thing to show you in this category, if you go into your gear settings, you have the ability to sort by types of armor or weapons and the various armor types and traits. It's fantastic. What I like to do here, and I probably shouldn't show people this, but I'm going to anyway, is I have a set of styles that are valuable. These are all style materials that cost more than they should, and I like to filter for pieces that are undervalued, I guess. That's the right word. So, for example, all right, let's go back over here. Let's go look at shimmering sand. So as you can see here, shimmering sand looks like it sells for anywhere between 4,700 to 5,700. And before anybody mentions that, yes, I forgot to start TTC before I started this video. Whatever, we don't need it for right now. So looking at like 4,700. Let's say that's our price here. That's what these people have it listed for the most part. So if we go back to our armor, we look for anything in the Iniquitous style, because much like the purple rings that I mentioned before, Iniquitous style is going to decon at a decent rate into things that are into shimmering sand, and so that will make us a lot of money if I can buy them for the right price. Usually in my mind, I set something about half off, right? So I don't see anything, so I've got several styles selected here. Sapiarch is a nice dream. I almost never find anything in Sapiarch style. That's why it is. That's why Coulon de Liqueur is so valuable. But yeah, I never find anything in Sapiarch style. Nobody makes anything in that. I don't think very many gear sets drop in that, if any. Anyway, these all look like they're Dead Keeper, which should be funerary wrappings. So let's go look at what the price is here. Funerary wrappings. Had to remember how to spell that. Oh, nobody's selling them here. Let's bring up our my purchases. That's fun. Funerary wrappings look like they're priced at about 10,000. So I could go here and buy. As a matter of fact, I will buy all of them. We'll go over here to the armor. So I'd say it's probably better. Like, I'm not going to buy this piece at 7,500. I'm probably not going to buy this one at 5,000. I don't know. We'll say I'll set my cutoff. I'm not going to buy these bottom three pieces. Well, that's only $4.99. I'm not going to buy these bottom four pieces, so I'm going to buy all the rest of these. Unfortunately, there's no like mass select, mass buy option, or at least if there is, I don't know about it. Maybe somebody can teach me, but yeah. So I'm going to buy all of these, and then just kind of demonstrate the loop. I'm going to grab them all. I'm going to bust out my rag picker, bring her over here, and deconstruct. Oh, I have mass deconstruct installed, so I can actually just do that. But as we'll see, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces of gear here to deconstruct. And we are going to deconstruct it, and we ended up with 7 funerary wrappings. So all of those pieces cost me a little less than 4,500 gold times 14. I don't do math very well in my head, so 63,000 gold with 7 pieces. I'm going to potentially make 70,000 gold, so it's a tiny little bit of profit. I wouldn't count that as like a big win, but a lot of times if you're able to get more and more bargains, so obviously I can't say which piece deconstructed into a funerary wrap and which one didn't, but if you're able to get something at a bargain, you can make really good money that way. It's much like I said, the rings that we have here. But yeah, you can do the same thing with the weapons. I have that set up. I would really recommend keeping an eye on these tabs, and do not. So you can see here that clearly some people have good, like high hopes for Vivek's set here, or the Kamonatong Mall, etc., like, or Kamonatong set in general. So obviously don't buy these. This is not a good deal, because what we're doing is just deconstructing them. If you think you can flip them for more, that is your call. I haven't done a gear flipping video yet, but I think it would be worth doing at some point, so I probably will. It's a tricky market. But anyway, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to go reload my UI with MM installed, so you can see the additional features that MM. Alright, we're back. Go over to the guild store. So you can see now, let's click on the all filter. We have a profit range filter. This is a new feature. I don't use it, but it is nice. We also have a second deal range filter that I usually set to the same as whatever I'm setting ATT for. You can pop up the master merchant window. That is very convenient if you're looking for a specific item, if you're not running ATT. Master Merchant, in my opinion, is a more robust set of tools, and I believe it is currently being updated, whereas I don't think Arcadius is getting updated very often. I will say, though, that often slows down your load time, or at least it can a little bit, especially if you have a lot of sales records. But yeah, so let's just do another text search here. Let's see. We'll just look for that was a fun little hiccup. Anything Telvanni, and we'll let it run. It's going to search the entire store for anything labeled Telvanni. Hopefully I spelled it right. That'd be ridiculous if I didn't. Pretty sure I did. I didn't. There we go. So yeah, while it's running, you can see it's going to find me everything labeled as Telvanni. There's a couple things here that seem to be valuable. I don't trust these prices necessarily because these are, I don't know. It seems like that's a little high for something blue, but could be right. I'd have to go do some research. I don't have TTC on because I wasn't planning on doing any actual flipping in this video. Do want to point out that I believe I highlighted both this and this as potential flip items or rehoming items from last week, and I was able to sell them. I bought this for 300,000. Let's see. Let's go down to last 10 days. So yeah, I bought the Indorol lamp for 69,000. I bought the Telvanni lamp for 381,000, and you can see that I sold the Telvanni one for 450,000 and the Indorol one for 85,000. It didn't take very long to sell either one of them. They both sold within 5 days. That's fantastic. So yeah, there's not too much else to go over. So like here's an example of a different one. This is my companion item jewelry filter. It is literally just companion items jewelry of a certain quality. Here is a consumable container when I'm looking for these various rune box pieces and other things along those lines. I filter out like snowball, sword swallower, juggler, mud, torches. This probably needs to be updated. I use this filter a lot, and whenever a new event comes along, people just dump their stuff into their traders because they think, well, it's not incorrect. Some people will just buy everything at a ridiculously high price. There are people out there who have just infinite amounts of gold. There are people who have been playing since basically the launch of the game who have just saved everything. They have everything they need. Whenever something new comes out, they just buy it. And I don't know. I mean, that's one way to play the game. I don't have any strong opinions there. Sometimes I like to scroll through the furnishings. There's all kinds of cool furnishings. I like to think that I'm more of a housing person, but then I never actually do anything in my house, and that's a fucking cool painting. What does this look like? Alright, that is really cool. But yeah, I mean, like, for example, we can just say, like, minus painting. Now we don't have any paintings in here. And then minus song of Pelennel. Did I put a space there? I did, didn't I? Yep. You can filter out in any like category. You can filter out by name, and it's very useful. I find it. I don't know how I used to play this game without Awesome Guild Store and the ability to filter this stuff out. Whenever I hear that somebody is running and they want to be a trader and they're not running Awesome Guild Store, I assume that they are some sort of like super expert, like can see the fucking Matrix player. Zos, I know you're not listening because you're not responding to any of my requests to work for you, but if you are by any chance listening, reach out to the team that made Awesome Guild Store, the person that made it, and just buy this from them and put this in your game default. I really don't understand why you don't. Or if you're not going to do that, rework your damn default guild store. You talked a lot about like, oh, this, we're going to do more quality of life fixes. Well, fix this, please. But anyway, that's us for today. I will be back hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'll be back next week. We'll have another farming video on Wednesday, another flipping video on Friday, and hopefully we will be having that Assassin's Creed video I talked about on Monday. I am putting it together now, and it's more of an undertaking, but I will persevere. I'm proud of myself. So yeah, thank you to everybody who subscribed. If you liked this video, if you found it useful, there is a thumbs up button that you can use to let me know that you liked it. Please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video.